Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about a topic that's been circulating Smash Twitter a lot recently, and that is going to be on banning certain characters, namely Steve and Kazuya. Mostly Steve I see more than Kazuya, but I want to talk about both. I will focus on Steve at the start, and then I'll mention Kazuya. Right off the gate, my answer, just if you don't want to watch the whole video, is no, we should not ban these characters, and there's a couple reasons why. The first one is they're not even the best characters in the game, and I don't think they're close, honestly. Now, in the future, I could definitely see Steve being the best character in the game. Kazuya, less so. I don't think he could be the best. He could definitely be top 5. He might even be top 5 right now for some people. I think he's definitely like in the top 10, top 15 area. Steve, same thing. Do I think we should ban them? No. If a character isn't like a clear #1 contender or even in contention in most people's opinion, then absolutely we should not ban them. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're killing the game. They're not fun to play against. The matchup's really annoying to learn. It's like a different game." And it's like, one, learn the matchup. As like, I don't like saying that because that sounds corny and just like, just deal with it. But also, two, it's like there is counterplay. There's characters they lose to. If you hate Steve so much, just play like Sephiroth or Cloud. They're not hard characters to pick up. It's easy to counterpick. And no, you shouldn't have to counterpick a character, but there is ways to play around Steve with your character, I can almost guarantee, unless it's like one of their really bad matchups. But in that case, people just don't like playing it, and if it's one of your really bad ones, probably Pikachu is also like that. We are not going to ban Pikachu. I see a lot of comparisons with Steve to Smash 4 Bayo when it is just not even close at all. Well, while we have seen a lot of prominence from a lot of Steve players, like we did in Smash 4 with Bayo, there's a ton of Bayos that were not nobodies at the game. A lot of them were, but they were like not nearly as good as they were. Like Lima, Mistake, Salem. Like I think Salem was pretty good before. I know he was good in Brawl. They were all really good players, and with Bayonetta, they were amazing players. The Captain Zack as well. I'm just mentioning people, don't sue me. But those are all prominent Bayonetta players. And then you also had Tweak pick up Bayonetta. You had Leo, I believe, pick up Bayonetta. You had a lot of top players start picking up Bayonetta, and that's what we're not seeing with Steve. While you do have some people messing with Steve, like you had Esam, you had DeBuzz, you have Mutace. I think Mutace kind of messed with Steve. I don't really know the situation on that. It's not even like comparable to. They're not tournament characters. They just kind of use them for fun. It's like Sora is more comparative to Bayonetta in the top echelon, like of top players, like using them as a secondary for some reason, as whereas Steve and Kazuya, there's like probably one Steve player in the top 10. Actually, no, not even probably. There is one Steve player in the top 10, one Kazuya player, arguably, like you could argue for top 10, and then the rest, it's a huge drop. And then there's a lot of really good Steves, a lot of really good Kazuyas. Like I can name a couple of Kazuyas: Burr, Ferps. I don't know if Andres plays the character. Those are just a couple off the top of my head. And then Steve, there's like Yanni, Jake, Didi. There's a lot of Steves. But that's not like they were in Bayonetta. Like the Bayonettas were winning tournaments. No, Steve hasn't won a tournament besides Aquila, who is an anomaly. He's an anomaly. There is Steve hitting really high peaks. Not like Aquila, not with the consistency. That is Aquila being an amazing player. Like every other Steve has struggled really hard with consistency. The only one that's been somewhat consistent has been Yanni as of late. He's been getting a lot more 17th, 13th, but even he had a huge drop off where people were just destroying him straight up. He was not getting great placements. And then Didi, we just don't really know because he's only been to a couple super majors. But it's not like the Steve players are all just like easily getting into top 8. Like I haven't seen a bracket of a major with more than one Steve in top 8. Where in Smash 4, you'd see like 4 Bayonettas like minimum. Brawl Meta Knight, I know people aren't really comparing it to Brawl Meta Knight as much because everyone knew that character should have been banned. Brawl Meta Knight, you'd see like 6, 5, it'd be a majority. Like top 32 would be like 20 Meta Knights, and then the rest of the cast maybe, like mainly Ice Climbers and Snakes probably. But they're people comparing Bayonetta to Steve. It's not comparable. I could see if you want the character banned because he's lame. I personally super don't agree. But comparing him to Bayonetta is just, first of all, wrong. Like, super blowing it out of proportions. And also, we didn't even ban Bayonetta, even if we might have, maybe should have, we didn't. And I guess you can use that as an argument. It's like, yeah, but just because we didn't do it in the past doesn't mean we shouldn't do it now. And did Bayonetta kill Smash 4? I actually don't know. Smash 4, I don't know if it would have died with Bayonetta killing it. Bayonetta like was clearly the best character in the game. I think Ultimate killed it more, but maybe in the future it would have. As for Steve, as of right now, maybe in the future when they discover the 5 more Steve Infinites, because we all know they're out there, then you can say, okay, maybe we should ban Steve. Kind of like how I think the biggest ban in Smash we've seen is like wobbling being banned in Melee at certain tournaments. It's like, okay, we banned the Steve Infinites, and then it's like, okay, I think that's fine. Banning the character outright, I just don't agree with. Even if he has Touch of Death combos, a lot of characters in the game like that. It's like Luigi has a Touch of Death combo. Lucas has Touch of Death. Pikachu has Touch of Death. Link has an infinite. Like, there's so many characters in this game with an infinite of the Touch of Death. Kazuya, obviously, someone that I'm going to be talking about. And that's just kind of the type of game Ultimate is. Ultimate is a game where if you are getting hit, you are going to be taking a lot of damage or dying off an optimized combo. Just realistically, if you're playing a good character like Steve and Kazuya, they're very good characters. And for that trade, it's like their neutral's not as great. It's hard for them to get in, but then Steve has minecart, which makes him very good. And Steve has blocks, which make him very good. And everything about that is very, very hard to be consistent with. Because Steve, I feel like he's hard to be consistent with. I already mentioned this earlier, but there's only one Steve performing well, whereas Bayonetta, there was like 5 of them, like consistently destroying. I just don't think there's such a large gap between Smash 4 Bayonetta and Steve. And I'm gonna stop making the analogy now because that's not the point of the video to compare the two, because I don't think it's even comparable, even though I've done it a lot. The point is, do we ban Steve because people think he's too different and they don't like the play style? And I still say no. I just don't think a character playing different, like if we ban characters that are lame and like we should ban Sonic. We should have banned Sonic a long time ago. We should ban Luigi. He's 0 to death. You. We should ban like Link. He camps and has 0 to death. There's so many characters that if you don't like this certain thing about them, they should be banned. Half the roster is going to be banned, and you're only going to have rushdown aggressive characters, which I agree. They're the most fun to watch. They're the most fun to play against because it's just people hitting each other for a bunch. But as a top player, as a top level player, as someone like that's really good at the game, you need to be able to adapt to a bunch of different playstyles, how to adapt to camping, how to adapt to rushdown. And by just getting rid of a character that is definitely probably the best at the game at camping, at keeping you out, at forcing you to approach, I'd say Steve is. I think you're really just kind of weakening the player base. It's like not giving them the opportunity to actually learn that matchup. Because I still think a lot of people aren't super great at the Steve matchup. There's a couple top players that I think really nailed it. I think Light is phenomenal at that matchup. I think he's probably the best in the world at it. The way he rushes down to Steve player, since he lost to Jake, he has literally destroyed every single Steve player he's come across. Like, just the way that he will rush you down it's really impressive. And Fox is a character that does have an option for that. That's probably a winning matchup for Fox, realistically. Maybe not, because you can get, like, I've seen, like, 20 clips on Twitter, like, today of a Fox dying from one jab against a wall. But if you can rush down Steve, get in his zone, then it's beatable, right? Steve is beatable. Bayonetta, she was beatable, but also she could hit you at 8% and kill you. It's the same thing for Steve, except I think the counterplay, maybe it's not as good, but I think the tools are a lot better. There's a lot more tools in Ultimate than I think there was in Smash 4. Steve also doesn't have Witch Time. Now, Kazuya, I want to talk about Kazuya quickly. I don't even know why it's a discussion to ban Kazuya at all. He's basically a heavy, like just like a stereotypical what you would think about as a heavy. It's like if he touches you once, he's going to kill you. He lives for very long, but it's really hard for him to get in. And I think that is fine. He is just a better Luigi. He is a better, what's another character that grabs you? He's a worse Pikachu, I guess. I don't know. I always compare things to Pikachu and Luigi. But a character just killing you off of one hit, that's fine. A lot of characters in this game are going to kill you or like put you in a situation where you should die if the person doesn't mess up. Like Sheik, for example. Sheik is someone that, in theory, if you hit someone, you should do like 60% with your combo if you're really good, and then you should be able to keep them at the ledge because of how good Sheik's ledge trapping is until they're essentially dead. Kazuya, not every hit he's going to get is going to kill you. A lot of them are. If you get hit by that one move, we all know the one I'm talking about, The stun one that I don't know the name of somehow. I want to say Electric Wind Godfist, but I'm pretty sure it's wrong. But you know what I'm talking about. If you get hit by that, in theory, you should die. Because the Kazuya shouldn't mess up. Like, obviously people do, but in a future where people don't mess up, and Steve and Kazuya are, like, obviously very good because they're a Touch of Death, I don't think a Touch of Death character is necessarily bad, and I just think it's weird that these are the only two Touch of Death characters that people are talking about. Pikachu, Touch of Death. Sheik, in theory, I don't know if she could be Touch of Death, maybe. Lucas with Slingshot is definitely Touch of Death with, like, his Zair stuff. Link has his Infinite. I think Mega Man has some stuff with his Metal Blade as an Infinite. Like, there's a lot of Touch of Death characters in this game that people are just choosing to ignore because there's either not a lot of representation, like there is with Steve and Kazuya, or just, like, they're hyper. Like, Steve and Kazuya, maybe less for Kazuya, but Steve is... I think people just hate playing against him because he's slow, and they hate watching him because he's slow. Like, making me approach is so lame, and if I don't approach, I get, like, literally punished. Like, with a projectile character, if you just wait for them to get impatient, that's fine. It's a little hard for you because they're throwing things at you. With Steve, he is mining. You cannot do that because when he decides to approach you, he will be the best character in the game because he'll have full diamond, full iron, full gold, all that. He'll have all of his tricks ready. That's really tough. So you need to approach him. And, I don't know, I feel like people are just, instead of learning how to play the matchup, they would rather ban the character because it's like they don't find it fun, and I get that. Especially if you're at, like, not a casual level, because I think people going to tournaments aren't really casuals, but a more, like, not top tier level, you're just playing in tournaments for fun. I get, like, everyone plays Steve, and you hate that, and in order to counterplay that, honestly, my best advice, instead of not letting people play a certain character because you don't like it, is find a way to beat that character. Like, pick up Cloud. I think Cloud, great counterplay. Another reason, my final comparison to Bayonetta. Bayonetta, as far as I'm aware, didn't have any matchups where it was like, she very clearly loses this and there's not a ton she can do. Cloud destroys Steve. You should not lose to Steve if you are Cloud and you're playing correctly. Same with a lot of sorties, I think. I think range is really tough for Steve. Like big sorties, like Sephiroth, I think does fairly well. Pikachu probably does pretty well because his T-Jolt goes up the wall and he's broken. So instead of just saying we should ban these characters because we don't like how they play and they heal you in one hit, you should say, okay, how can I play around these things? How can I out-neutral the character? How can I be better than this player and actually beat them instead of banning? But yeah, that's just my take. TLDR, you probably know my opinion now, I'm pretty clear. No, we should not ban these characters for the foreseeable future. If Steve gets super broken, which I think Steve is probably going to end up being like top 3, top 5, top 1 in the game as his meta develops. Kazuya, probably not. I feel like the Kazuya meta isn't like figured out, but people already have their bread and butter zero deaths. The neutral is just going to get a lot stronger. Maybe each hit, like maybe if you get more random hits will kill. But I think we shouldn't ban the character. If it's not a clear best character in the game, I don't even think it should be a conversation. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Seeing this a lot on Twitter. I thought it was an interesting topic. I enjoyed this video. Just as a heads up, probably not going to be uploading as much in the coming weeks. I just got finals coming up. But when that's all done, we should get back to regular videos. I'll try to make tournament recaps. I do not believe there's anything super soon. Battle of BC might be soon. I know there's a tournament not this weekend, but the next weekend. I'll cover that. I'll do my best to. But yeah, we'll see. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.